Yeah, I can. So, Courtney, thank you for doing this with me. I just want to know a little bit about your coaching story, like how you got started, why you got started, and how you got to where you are.
Awesome. Hey guys, I am Courtney Harden. I have been coaching for a little over 4 years. March was actually my 4 year coach anniversary, so I'm working on my fourth year, I guess. Um, and I got started I always say I have my four main reasons why I got started. So number one was nutrition. I grew up loving fitness. Just I really love to work out. That's part of my story. But I always grew up with this mentality of, well, I worked out so I can eat whatever I want. And it grew into a really bad relationship with food, emotional eating, and punishing myself with exercise or eating something I probably shouldn't have. And so I just wanted to get myself out of that mentality and just learn better nutrition tactics. So that was number one, just nutrition in general and the accountability towards it. Number two was I wanted to help a few family members, particularly my dad. I had this one person in mind, and that was something that when I started, my coach said, think of one person that you could change their life with this. And for me, that was my dad. And so I was able to help my dad lose 30 pounds in 30 days. And it's still something I'm super proud of today. Um, Reason number three is because I have always had a sort of semi weird relationship with money. Like I'm very frugal. I get really I have like no anxiety, no stress unless it has to do with money. And I get like really like every penny that comes in and out of our bank account I get stressed out about, or I did in the past. And so I wanted to I started with a small goal of I want to pay for my car payment each month because I wasn't used to having a car payment. I've been, I guess, blessed, you can say, with my parents have been able to buy me cars. Slash, I get the hand me downs because I'm a middle child. um, all the cars, so I never had a car payment before. So when I got a reliable car, that came with car payment. So that was goal number one, was to pay that as far as income and finances go with coaching. And then reason number four, last one, was my career. I am an event planner for a hotel here in Tulsa, and I love my job as far as like the job. Said, wow, I'm really making a difference. I'm super passionate about planning this insurance seminar. Like it wasn't something that I was like writing home about and really, really proud of. And I wanted to find that in a career and that would last me a long time. And event planning is not super reliable as far as hours. Like I have to work a lot of nights and weekends. And I knew that wasn't going to be sustainable with a growing family. So those are kind of my four main reasons. And then we'll go from there.
Yeah, so one of my first questions for you is all of those reasons I'm hearing you talk about are mostly like for your life and like for your family and all of that. At what point did it switch to where you were like, okay, like I can do this and I've been able to help my dad and I have these dreams or goals with finances or whatever. At what point were you like, I want to help other people do this with the business?
Right. So I went to a summit, our annual coach conference. That was my first one in the summer, a year and a half after I signed up to be a coach. I went to that summit and listened to a coach who is now number one in the company, but at the time she was maybe 200th in the company. And she had gone on stage and talked about how she was suicidal and how she was severely depressed at one point in her life and went to marriage counseling and was also a corporate ladder climber because she felt like she had to and felt like she needed to check off the boxes. So I sat there and listened to her talk about how she came from this, and if she did, why not you? And so that was the also get to do this. And so that exact reason, and sorry if my internet is being weird, that exact moment is when I knew I needed to grow a team. But it can obviously happen way before a year and a half into the business. That was just when it clicked for me. Because I didn't have guidance like you guys have in Paige. I was just kind of on my own, like doing my own thing, which is just fine. But that moment when she sat there and said listed off all of these things, like, if this person can do it, why not you? And so that's kind of when I realized I needed to make a bigger impact. And if I really wanted to truly leave a legacy, or feel like I am making a difference and making a purpose with my career, I needed to help other people feel like that.
Okay, so that brings me to two questions. Number one, not that you like wish away the way that your journey happened, but like, do you wish, or do you think you would have had a bigger advantage had you not waited for a year and a half? Like, if you had started in your first, I don't know, 1 to 2 months, like kind of switching that mentality. And then my second question from that is, I know that was when I first started following you, because I was just starting to be a coach. And I can remember when you guys got back from Summit, like, you took off. I can remember that pretty clearly. So what were the steps you took when you got back from Summit to, like, what were the big shifts, I guess? What were the changes, the practical things that you did?
Um, okay, so yes to the first question. I definitely considered myself a hobby coach for that whole first year and a half without even realizing it, because I, for a long time, based everything I posted off of what other people were going to think of me posting. So I wasn't super vulnerable in any of my posts. I was inspiring, but I didn't post anything that really could create. I keep like coming back to leaving a legacy, but it really wasn't anything that was incredible or out of this world. It was just, like the weekly flex at the camera picture or a recipe. And then I would say, okay, well, I posted this week, so I should be good. Where I wasn't really working the business in the behind the scenes. I was just showing up on social media a few times a week and saying, well, no one's reaching out to me. What the heck? So yeah, if I would have known a year and a half before then, a year even before then, that you guys really have to be putting in the vital behaviors every single day. You have to do the reaching out. I have never, ever been one of those coaches in this business where people reach out to me. I probably in 4 years had 5 people say, can I do this, without me first saying something to them. So it definitely has to be the behind the scenes work a lot of the times for the vitals. And then what was your second question again?
Just the practical things you did when you got home.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so it was so crazy. So that conference was in July. At the time I was Emerald, and I was like, my goal is Diamond. So I sat at Emerald for a year and a half, and then literally in 3 weeks got to Diamond. So the steps I took, I just was like, oh crap, I'm actually not doing the vitals. I'm saying I am, but I was not actually inviting. I was not actually making connections like I should have been. I was not actually posting my story and my journey every single day. And so that was like number one when I got home, is like, I need to show up every single day, be vulnerable, be authentic. And like I said, it's not like I was not being myself, like I was being the funny side of myself, but I wasn't like helping that many people. And so that's kind of the shift. Also, the number 2 shift was, I think people really saw it as a business, because I went to this conference, and you don't go to conferences unless you're working the business, but I that shift could have happened so much earlier. I could have said in the first 2 weeks, this is a business. This is something that I worked hard and have ever since. But I it's almost like I was embarrassed by it. Um, but it is something that has seriously changed my life. So it's obviously not anymore. But I think that is something that you have to do too, is talk about how this is a business. You talk about coaching, post about the kind of coaches that you want on your team and the kind of atmosphere you want on your team. And people will really start to say like, okay, wow, this is an actual business that can change lives and that can be super impactful.
Yeah, I wrote down several things that I wanted to point out just in case anybody like missed it. I think it's incredible that you went from emerald to diamond in 3 weeks, and especially for this group of women to hear, because a lot of them are emerald right now, which means that based off of what you did in your journey, they need to, if they haven't already, start posting with intention, like you mentioned, do the power half hours or the power hours with the vitals, and show that it's a business. Like, what do
Mm-hmm.
we do from home? The conference summit is amazing, but it's once a year. So showing those things that they do from home that would qualify it in other people's minds as a business, and calling it a business is really important too. So I feel like that's going to be like mind blowing for a lot of women who watch this, because they're sitting where you were, but a lot of them are a month into their business. So they are where you were, and they can get to diamond in 3 weeks.
Yeah, I tell my girls all the time, I'm like, show the work because it does take some work to get to diamond. But if you're gonna get people on your team that are gonna want to work, you don't want to be like, this is all trips and fun and blah blah blah. You want to show up and show them like what you're actually doing, and then you'll get people on your team who are gonna work with you.
Yep, I love that. So my
Yeah.
last question is, these girls are in their 4th to 8th week probably of the business. So knowing that a lot of them probably have fear and they have these limiting beliefs of like, could I actually like do this right now? What advice would you give to them right now in their businesses starting out?
Number one is personal development. I always thought it was the most gimmicky thing until I listened. I always have two books that like literally changed my business and changed my perspective on myself and actually becoming a leader, being myself. Two books, You Are a Badass and Mastering Your Mean Girl. Both of them I listened to. I don't know if that makes a difference. But I would go for a walk in the evening or on my commute to work or whatever and listen to them. And those both are like, you can do this. And so constantly hearing you can do this, you are a badass, I was like, all right, I can do this. So personal development is number one. Number two is find a partner, find someone to run with, and do not use that partnership as a toxic relationship where you complain about how no one's responding to you or you complain about getting no's. Use it as, okay, problem, solution, let's do this. So find a partnership that you can run coach sneak peeks with, that you can, if you want to run challenge groups with them, that's fine. You don't have to, but find someone to run this business with, because it, one, it makes it more fun, and two, it just, I think, relieves a little bit of the like first couple month pressures that you might be feeling or fears that you might be feeling because you're doing it with someone who's in the same spot as you, and be pushing for goals together. And then number three is just get out of your own head. I think a lot of times people overthink like, well, what do I have to post? And what do I have to, what do I actually have to do? Get out of your own head, follow the Success Club system tracker or your daily activity tracker, and just keep it simple. You know, there's that like famous Rachel Hollis saying, other people's opinions don't pay your bills. And I had to hear that probably 50 times before I really was like, it's very true. I mean, I had a best friend from high school publicly blasted me for the first 6 months of coaching on her Facebook. So you just really have to know your why, know your vision with this, picture your life 5 years down the road and how much better it could be with coaching in it, how much better you can feel just in health in general and mental health, and just envision your life surrounded by this community at all times and know that it's going to be insanely better with it. So those are kind of my tips.
I love it. Well, Courtney, thank you so much. If you don't follow Courtney, you should go follow her on Instagram. Court, what's your name? I always forget.
I just changed it to Court Harden.
Okay, go follow her for some inspiration. We have amazing leaders on our team, you guys, that you can learn so much from. So thank you, Courtney, so much.
You're welcome.